Okay, so I want to go through the grid influences with you, which I know I've covered a little bit, but let's just throw it on paper so you can see how we can combine influences. So your Mercury is going to be mental, quick, impulsive. Venus, heart desires, harmony, love, family. Mars is going to be all of our initiative, purpose, aggressiveness in this Mars line. Our Jupiter line, opportunity, expansion, benefit, good fortune, personal expansion, growth. Saturn's our karma, our teacher. It burdens us, it restricts us. It's our disciplinarian. It's where we get our health issues from our Saturn. Uranus is very new age. It's unorthodox. It's science. It's like new science, new technology, progress. It's esotericism. So it's this system. Uranus rules this system. And then Neptune, idealism, illusion, delusion. They're psychic. They have distant interests, interest across seas, that type of thing. Okay, so let us look at the process and the grids. I want to go through some certain examples of the aspects, and I think if you're into astrology and understand how to read your natal chart and understand the aspects in your chart, this should be a really interesting exercise for you to look at the aspects in these spreads and then see how they relate to your spreads. So let's highlight the Ace of Clubs, which is the Mercury-Venus card in the current life spread. It's the Venus-Neptune card in the past life spread. So with the Mercury row, you have like these impulsive and quick reactions. With the Ace of Club, quick initiation of new ideas. They can be self-absorbed. And you have this Venus component in the column where I think with the karma of the Two of Hearts, you could see where they're looking for the ideal lover or the perfect lover. And the Ace of Clubs would never stop until they found that person. It is a semi-fixed card too, so they're switching back and forth with the Two of Hearts, which is in the Venus column down there. I mean Venus row and the Neptune column. So you have this Mercury plus Venus type of aspect to the Ace of Clubs. In the past life, it's a Venus-Neptune. So you have Neptune, which is like a higher octave of Venus. And you have this Ace of Club who's really searching for the perfect love. So it's very interesting, how you have these aspects in the past life. So Venus Neptune here, Neptune giving it dreaminess, hopes and fears, dreams. But with the Ace of Clubs and the current life spread, a lot of initiation, a workhorse, some Aries energy there with being number one, with being an ace, really fired up, ready to go, hard workers. We'll go to the next card, Seven of Hearts. Seven of Hearts is in a Venus row, but the Mercury column. All right, so we just did Mercury, Venus here. We're doing Venus, Mercury. And Venus and Mercury, there's no directional play here. It's the Seven of Hearts could be either really high and happy, positive, or super low and negative. There's challenges there, and with the seven, you need to elevate. The seven will have you traveling spiritually, and it is in the Mercury column, which rules travel. It's the spiritual plane they're traveling on, and there's a detached the goal of detached love with this card. But with Venus, you have a fear of abandonment. So I think it's an interesting card to be in that position. You have the Seven of Hearts in the past life in the Mercury row in the Neptune column. So again, like that fear of abandonment, Neptune rules hopes and fears. That's the aspects for the Seven of Hearts. So if you're a Seven of Hearts, you're going to look in your chart and see what is Venus and Mercury doing? What is Mercury and Neptune doing? Are they squaring your, and then what are these planets independently doing? Are there any negative or challenging aspects? And what would be even more fitting is if there's challenging aspects, say with Neptune and Mercury in your past life, which is your karma, or Neptune and the Sun, or so something to think about. Let's go to the next example. The King of Hearts, a Mars-Mercury card. So think of Mars as like impulsive, a little quick. Mercury, impulsive, quick, communication. And then you meet a King of Hearts in the Mars row, which is the god of war, passion, purpose, initiative, competition, jealousy. So you have this king who puts his foot in his mouth a lot of times because he speaks before he thinks, and he does it with emotion and passion because he's a heart. And he has this firepower of the Mars. So you're dealing with a petulant king sometimes that can act like a tyrant. And it's the youngest king too. So they definitely act childish sometimes. Hearts are the youngest suit. And so this Mercury-Mars aspect is an interesting aspect to have the king in. Now he sits in the Venus-Uranus column, the Venus row in the Uranus column in the past life spread. It gives him some unpredictability here, probably to others, especially in love. All right, our next example is going to be the Jack of Spades. Mars row, Uranus column. It's just perfect. It's the Jack of Spades. They have no boundaries. They're super unpredictable, which is a Uranus trait. They can be really hardworking, though. They can be spiritual initiates. I believe the Mars power gives them the power to regenerate, to destroy and rebuild life. There's everything that is needed within them to do that, and they can do it on their own, and they can, they're the second most powerful card in the deck, really, in the Grand Solar Spread. They're right next to the King of Spades. The Queen of Spades is not considered the second most because she is more like passive and spiritual leadership and does much better the queens do much better in the perfect spreads. The kings do better in these external Grand Solar Spreads here. So I just think it's great. You have this Mars-Uranus card, this aspect that has no boundaries. Also, why does it have no boundaries? Probably because it's in the crown line in the past life, and they don't have to play by the same rules as anybody else. So it's very interesting. Next example, the Ten of Diamonds. We've gone through this card a little bit. Jupiter. Where is it in the past life? It's Uranus-Mercury. These people are really smart. So you have Uranus and Mercury. Uranus is a higher octave of Mercury. So the mind is really active here. It's really powerful. Quick. When you see the Ten of Diamonds, it could be like a quick lump sum of money too, especially with Mercury. This is a card of abundance, and Uranus really gives these people and it's a card of abundance, and I do believe the Uranus aspect helps with like the lump sum type of feeling we may get when we see the Ten of Diamonds. Like, you can make an abundance of money when you see it, but a lot of times it could be like a lottery winning or an inheritance. So this is a very Uranus trait where it's unpredictable, it's out of nowhere, it's uncertain, and then all of a sudden something happens. It's a surprise. Uranus is a surprise. All right, let's do the next example. Ace of Diamonds. Ace of Diamonds is Jupiter, Neptune. And in a past life, they are Jupiter, Uranus. It's interesting when you meet some Ace of Diamonds people, you would never think of them. I know the Jupiter column is provides a lot more Jupiter to the cards in it. And the one interesting thing to know about this Jupiter column, I believe, is that these people also want to be the center of attention, or they're very self-centered in an ace way. Like, I think, I feel. Even the Ten of Diamonds has that, as with the ace energy. The Ten of Hearts has that a little bit. So, you have this Jupiter aspect where they have good fortune, but with the Ace of Diamonds here, they're always idealistically dreaming of more, not afraid to ask for more, not afraid to break the boundaries of that with people. They have no boundaries either. Neptune must just really like fog that up for them. You can see in the past life, it's in Uranus here. So there is like some unsteadiness to this card as well with that Uranus effect. Three of Clubs, Saturn, Mars. You need to be really creative in Mars. You need to express yourself in Mars. They need to align their mind and channel, or else they're prone to worry and anxiety and health issues. So Saturn rules your health. And if the Three of Clubs is not playing the high side, they can make themselves sick with worry. Card here is Mars, Venus. So see what that looks like for you if you're a Three of Clubs. Like, what does your Mars and your Venus look like? Are they squaring anything? Okay. Next example, Uranus, Venus is the Jack of Clubs. All right, so Uranus is New Age. Think about like New Age love, non-binary, all that stuff. And then it's in Venus. So the Jack of Clubs should be a bisexual card. So you have that New Agey type of love in the Venus column here. It's like the New Ageness is mixing with Venus in a way. But Uranus also adds the mental part. Like, these people can do mental gymnastics and play both sides. Well, Jacks are 1+1, so there's two sides or two lives or two backgrounds about them. They could always have a double life. There's always two. They love to play both sides of an argument. And this could cause someone to be unsteady or unprepared for what is to come from them. They could be really unpredictable people. You just never know. But their mind is like a supercomputer like Uranus. What's interesting with the Jack of Clubs being in the Venus column is these people, especially the men, can become tyrants after they get married. So like dating, they date one way, and then they become tyrants right after the marriage. Like, they change all the rules and they become very controlling and forceful. And why is that? Because there's Seven of Spades in Venus. Seven of Spades. Any seven is all about control and attachment to an outcome. So, watch out for that, or take note. The Jack of Clubs in the past life is in a Jupiter-Mars spot. Aspect. Terrific spot to be in. So Jupiter is going to give you fortune and benefit, and for them, it's like through their purpose, through which is to use their mind, to be super creative, to build stuff. You get like a super artist almost out of them in a way. Really creative people. Alright, I just talked about the Seven of Spades, but Uranus, Jupiter, so they're in the Jupiter column. And the Seven of Spades has a fortunate Jupiter benefit to it, where if you can play the high side, which is to reach into the spiritual realm and pivot the way your lifestyle is, your spirituality, you get to play the higher side of this in the spiritual world and become unattached to outcomes and have enough, and life is good. The gift that Jupiter gives is elevating the Seven of Spades consciousness, becoming enlightened by letting go. They can shift their energy, they can shift other people's energy, which is probably an unsteady process in Uranus anyway. Spiritual development is not a straight line. It is choppy. There's dips and new highs and then new lows and then higher highs. So, you think of this card like they have a foot in the spiritual, foot in the mundane. And that's the power of this card. Seven of Spades shows up in the Jupiter column, again, in the past life, and in the Neptune line. Which is interesting too, with Neptune, like some of these people being really psychic, spiritual, powerful. Alright, let's go to the next one. We have Neptune and Mercury, the Four of Hearts. Neptune gives this card a lot of, some delusion in life. They have to work hard. They may not really want to. Or they end up making decisions just rooted in security to play it safe. But it ends up boxing them in and stifling them and making them feel like all enclosed, not in a good way. But then you have Mercury, which, the Four of Hearts is the Cancer card, it's the family card. And you have Gemini ruling the third house. Does it rule the third house of kids? Of the twins, at least? So you have, in Mercury, at least, the first 13 years of life, your family upbringing, that type of experience, our childhood in the home. So the Four of Hearts represents that. It's always a family card. It could be a marriage card, but it's the Cancer card of the deck. It represents the home. So yeah, and then the Neptune part can also, like I said before, kind of give them delusion and deception around the decisions they're making. Four of Hearts in a really fortunate position here in the past life. Jupiter, Mercury. So again, it's in Mercury in the row, so it's still representing those first, childhood years of life. And then you benefit, from the family aspect. Jupiter gives benefit to that. Four of Hearts is a great marriage card. So not surprised to see it in a Jupiter column. Just blessing, like a blessing, All right. Saturn, Neptune card. Or Neptune Saturn card, Six of Clubs. First of all, the Six of Clubs is going to be karma, whether good or bad, for the words that are spoken. Saturn's going to be our teacher. The Neptune line might give these people some escapism tendencies, especially with booze. Saturn's going to give them that heavy energy that makes them really hard on themselves. So if you ever criticize a Six of Clubs, they'll explode because it's like the last straw. And they've already criticized themselves enough in this life, so they know about it already. They know the feedback, and then when you give it to them, they just lose it. And that's the Saturn effect. And Neptune might make them big dreamers or take them a long time to get going because of the Six. You could see in the past life it's in the Mars Saturn period. So again, like, it has a Saturn influence in the past life too. So there's heavy Saturn energy on the Six of Clubs. And it's a 6, so it represents karma, which Saturn does. 6 could be a messenger. And when you find a 6 of Clubs in your life spread or in the cards in your yearly spread, it's going to tell you of your special life or professional purpose. It's here to act like a messenger. Take those words and line them up, and move forward on the train tracks of wherever the clubs are leading you. All right, so let me make sure. Yeah. So all right, so that's the process. Is, when you find your birth card, look at your birth card. Let's just use the 6 of Clubs. You're going to realize that you're a Saturn-Neptune aspect combination. And you're going to understand what that means, what that energy on you means. Then you're going to jump into your suit. So the suit of Clubs rules the mind, knowledge, ideas, communication. It also rules our adolescence when we're in school and learning. Then you're going to go to the number of your card. So you're going to put it all together. You have the aspects, you have the suit, and then you have the numerology behind 6, which I was just explaining was karma, balancing of scales, the umpire, our judges of society, a messenger. So you have all these different descriptors based on whether it's an aspect, suit, or number. And then you can do the same thing for your karma cards and your karma challenges and your karma gifts. So good karma and bad karma cards. And so you have a very simple process for understanding all the aspects of your card and where that energy is kind of coming from. Okay? Okay, and then I'm going to, on my website, I'm going to put a link to this planetary aspect document that I built recently, where it's going to go through, it's tough to see here, but the aspect of each card, what the row is indicating, and what the column is indicating. So pretty much, you can use math of, hey, what's mental, quick, and impulsive plus, heart desires. It's going to be my Ace of Clubs in the mundane spread, the current life spread that takes initiative, but also, like, on the other end, has this 2 of Hearts yearning for the perfect love, and for harmony. So you'll be able to use that too to just kind of take a look at these aspects and learn your cards better. My next video, I'm going to go into, what am I going to teach? I'm going to teach the planetary ruling card. So using astrology to find your second birth card, using astrology to find your decadent ruling card based on what decadent you were born in what degree you were born, like in your sun sign, basically. So you get a card derived from that. And then I'm going to go over how, like, Scorpios have 2 cards as planetary rulers. They have Mars and Pluto. So some Scorpios have up to 4 cards in their spread. So when you're doing a reading for them, you have a lot of cards to go through. And they're a little bit more complex sometimes, So I plan to go through that. And I'll see you in the next video. Thanks.